If you're considering buying your first, or maybe even your second or third foil kite, here are 5 important things to know. Number 5 may come as a reality check, even for those of you who already own a foil kite. These tips come from the collective experience of about a dozen or so foil kite riders from our home spot. Please keep in mind that we're focusing on closed-cell kites intended for water use. Number 1, get the right model. This should apply across all brands, and the basic premise is this. Most people should stay away from high-aspect race kites for their first foil kite. This can be very tricky to operate, and unless you're actually racing or enjoy going fast, there's not really many benefits to them. Our recommendation is the Fly Surfer Sole. The Sole is a friendly, free-ride foil kite that flies similarly to an LEI but offers all the benefits of a foil kite. The relaunch is straightforward, and it can be used for both twin tipping and hydrofoiling. We would hands down recommend the Sole over the Fly Surfer Sonic, for instance, because the Sonic is a high-performance kite that requires more technical flying skills that you won't have just yet if this is your first foil kite. Brand-wise, obviously we are biased towards Fly Surfer, but there are other brands who make free-ride foil kites, like Ozone, Elf, Peter Lynn, Duotone, and if you're on a budget, there's always Paunch. Bottom line, we highly recommend you get a free-ride foil kite, like the Sole, as your first foil kite. Number 2, get the right size. How can you know which foil kite size is the right size without comparing the options back to back? Unfortunately, you can't. For example, we used to think that the 12-meter sole was perfect for our personal use until a couple of years later when we tried the 10-meter sole. In our opinion, for twin tipping, generally speaking, the largest size that you need in 2021 is a 15-meter. What we noticed this year is that even the local heavier guys who had 18 or 21-meter kites began to prefer and purchase 15-meter foil kites instead. Why did this happen? Well, it could be a combination of things. They quickly improved their low wind riding skills, the wind range for 18 and 21-meter kites was pretty limited, and most of them picked up hydrofoiling for those very light wind days. For twin tipping and higher winds, the 10-meter sole is our personal favorite. However, it does get a little bit tricky because depending on the wind speed, the 12-meter sole is also a great option. Choosing between the 10 and 12 will come down to the wind speeds you typically get, as well as your size. One thing to note is that if you're looking at getting a foil kite quiver, the gap between the 10-meter and the 15-meter is often too large. In that case, we recommend going with a 12-meter and a 15-meter. When it comes to hydrofoiling, the size of your foil kite is going to depend on a few factors, such as your size, your foil board setup, including wing size, and ultimately, what you're looking to do, whether you're looking to get into racing or you're more interested in free ride. Personally, when I was learning to hydrofoil, I was using larger foil kites until I quickly noticed that bigger guys around me were using much smaller kites with larger wings. The small kites turned much faster, which was worth compromising a couple meters of kite canopy. For that reason, we usually don't hydrofoil on kites larger than 10 meters. At our beach, it's uncommon to see anyone foiling with kites larger than 11. If you're looking for a foil kite that you can happily twin tip and hydrofoil with, it should come as no surprise that we highly recommend the 10-meter Fly Surfer Sole. Number 3, get the original bar with the kite. While a bar from another brand may pair well with a foil kite, sometimes it just doesn't. To be more precise, it's not that they don't work necessarily, it just feels as though something is not right. Examples that we've come across include the bar being either too long or too short, the high V profile messing up the geometry of the kite, and not all safety systems are compatible for a foil kite to flag out. If you're foiling, getting the original bar also means that your lines can be shortened by 3 meters if you prefer to do so by simply removing the extensions. Another important point is that if you're getting a 15-meter or larger foil kite, we recommend that you also get 6-meter line extensions to get the maximum juice out of the kite. Number 4, consider the pros and cons of buying new or used. New kites are expensive, so buying used may be the only option for some kiters. When buying a used foil kite, we recommend to buy something in like new or lightly used condition. If you're buying a kite that has had over 100 hours on it, chances are it's out of tune. For instance, the yellow spare part lines should be changed every 100 hours. But here's the thing, from what we've witnessed, most kiters don't know how to properly maintain their foil kites, be it regularly performing the long mixer test or symmetry test. So it's not always safe to assume that the previous owner was maintaining the foil kite as it should have been maintained. Bottom line, if you're buying a used foil kite, you want to get something below 30 sessions and maybe have a more experienced foil kiter try it for you first. You don't want to be stuck with something that's out of tune. There is some peace of mind when buying brand new, even if it is a bit more expensive. One tip that we have is to do your research to see when the next version of the Kite is coming out, as oftentimes the older version will be put on sale. Number 5, the reality check is this. You will get frustrated with your first foil kite. Foil kites are a different animal than inflatable kites. You will have to relearn how to launch, land, pack, and unpack your foil kite. We have seen countless times newbie foil kiters getting frustrated untangling bridles just because they don't know how. What will take us a minute can take 30 minutes for a rookie who is second-guessing themselves. Here's a pro tip. If the bridles are tangled, locate A, B, C, and Z. Then untangle A first, then B, then C, and then Z. This is the fastest way to untangle the bridles. Another tip is to have a dedicated set of bar and lines for each kite that remain attached to the kite. Another thing that is very important to learn is proper self-rescue technique, as well as how to hot launch foil kites. Go to the beach on a light wind day and practice a hot launch. Also learn the theoretical basics of relaunching the kite. No need to be afraid of foil kites as they relaunch easily. Finally, if possible, seek out an experienced foil kiter and get their input and advice. By simply talking to someone who knows a lot about foil kites, you can really shorten the learning curve and save yourself from making mistakes. On that note, for any experienced foil kiters watching this video, it would be great if you could leave additional tips for riders looking to get into foil kites in the comment section below. If you'd like to support this channel, make sure to check out our Patreon link, and if you're looking for a foil kite, make sure to check out the latest deals at Green Hat Kiteboarding, who we've linked in the description box below. We'll see you next time.